What's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Redefining Issued Equipment. And this is part 3 of the IOTV setup, and we're going to focus primarily around setting up the IOTV with the tap system in the event that you're in a unit that requires you to utilize this system. So this is how I would do it if I was in your situation or in that situation where I was required to utilize this and I had no other options. So I'll go through everything on the front side. I'll flip it over so that way you can see what it kind of looks like from the back, and then we can go from there. So starting off, I utilized the loop buckles that come with your IOTV and tap system and integrated those into the shoulder straps and then dropped them down to the tap system. And then from here, you can just buckle everything in. Now you can either set this up to where you pull your entire admin pouch out in front of these, and it will work this way. It does help protect the buckles just a little bit, so that's an option, or you can tuck it underneath like you saw before, so that's an option as well. It's going to be entirely up to you and what you want to do and how you want to set this up, but there are options when it comes to that. When it comes to the admin pouches, I would highly recommend that you go with something as low profile as this, whether you go with the complete Velcro pocket or the this one with the light holder. You have some options when it comes down to it. With these low profile admin pouches, it's not going to really interfere with your ability to transition from shoulder to shoulder when manipulating your rifle, and it won't interfere with being able to draw mags off the front of your kit. Some of those larger pouches that you see some guys run around with, those typically can get in the way of your magazines and being able to rapidly reload your weapon system when you either go dry or you're just trying to plus up and get a full mag into the gun. So I would recommend going with something low profile with like this. That way you can have the space to run all of your admin administrative data, GRGs, mission information that you may need. And then if you want that light holder on here, you can throw lights in there, flashbangs, 40mm grenades, multi-tools. So you have some options with this setup. When it comes to the tap system though, I would highly recommend doing the mod that I do on the tap system, so that way you have this elastic retention, so no matter what type of environment you're in and what type of operations you're doing, whether it's airborne operations, air assault, or maritime, you have that retention on your 4 mags up front. And then if you want to run additional mags, I would recommend running the Blue Force Gear 10-speed mag pouches for mags and for other mission essential equipment, because these can hold a lot of different things. That way it opens up the sides of these to either where you don't need to carry anything, or you won't have to carry anything and you can just leave them empty, or if you want to run GPSs, strobes, and other mission essential equipment, you can run that in there. I'm just kind of paraphrasing based off of the fact that I have the video of how to actually set this up in an earlier episode. So in conjunction with that, you can run your radio. Just be cognizant of what side you're shooting on. If you're right hand dominant and you're shooting off your right side, throw your radio on your left side, so that way the antennas and everything doesn't get in the way of your ability to shoulder that rifle. And then if you want, you can run like an antenna relocator. This is one from Disco 3.2. It's a cable, and then you have your Raptor Tactical like low profile relocator shroud, so to speak, that will hold the antenna in place so that way it isn't moving around. And then you can route that either through your cummerbund or over your shoulder to set up your radio, so that way that antenna isn't poking you in the face, jabbing you in the eye, and getting in the way of you being able to shoulder that rifle. So, and then when it comes to the exterior of that, you can run whatever you want. I have this set up to where this molly can be completely modified to whatever your mission is, your operational environment, and your duty position. So if you have a specific duty position or role and you need to have special equipment up here, by all means, don't set this up the way you see it, and set it up to the way it's going to be enabling you for your situation. Now, for like a grenadier, you can take these M9 Kydex pouches that Eagle Industry has, and you can run these all the way across the front of this. You just cut out the little Kydex liner that's in there, and then this works really well for if you have 40mm grenades in your grenadier. You can just shove that in there. The material holds onto it pretty well. So that's an example of how you can tailor this and set it up for another duty position, and then you ditch some of the other pouches that are on here. So you have some options when it comes down to it. I set this up in more of a leadership kind of a role, so I have my radio, flashbangs, or other mission essential equipment I might need. For guys that are like in EOD, you can use these for like shock tube and initiating systems. I have the small general purpose pouch that gets real flat when I'm not using it, and I can use that for an array of different things. And then I also have a Gerber or multi-tool pouch off to the side, so that way I can set this up for what I need. And then for some of the SOP stuff that I've seen for conventional guys, running your med kit on this left-hand Velcro pocket is really nice. You can just slide the entire med kit in there, vacuum seal it so it keeps everything protected, and then or food saver bag, vacuum seal it, and then you can throw that in there with like a 550 cord handle, and it pulls right out real easily. You can use this center section for administrative data or paperwork or books, whatever you want to take on mission with you can do that. And then I use this pocket over here for nav. So you have some options when it comes to the setup and configuration of the TAP system. Like I said, I have a video that talks about all of that in depth. When it comes to the flip side of this though, because of the buckle system, you're probably not going to be able to run pouches right here because you'll need a buckle into a buckle onto the back side of this. So I didn't put any pouches right here, and then I focus all of my additional equipment that I need for my mission either in this placard that we put together in the previous episode, or you can run an assault pack on the back of this as well if you don't want to run this, or the mission dictates that you aren't going to be able to run this. So you have some options. Just make sure that you get those buckles and plug those in right there so that way this stays nice and tight. But one key note, if you're going to run the TAP system, take that X harness that you have and you can just shove it in one of these pouches. So then that way, if you want to ditch your body armor, say you're training and you're doing civilian tactics, CQB, an array of different things. It doesn't matter what's going on. Whatever you're doing in your training and you want to ditch your kit and you're just working on reps, trying to develop SOPs, keep that harness section of your TAP system in your IOTV pouch or in this general purpose pouch. So then that way you can take all that off and then just run this slick. So it gives you some options when setting up and configuring your kit. So that way it's very modular and enables you to be able to do pretty much anything from this kit. So I do like the TAP system configuration just a little bit. It's not my preferred method, but the reason why I do like it a little bit is because you can disconnect this entire system. You can run reps and focus on SOP development. You can run and do a configuration where you can go out and do surveillance and reconnaissance missions. So I mean, it is modular, but in my opinion, because of how bulky this thing can get in conjunction with how bulky, heavy, and large the IOTV is, it adds a lot to this entire system, and you have a lot going on, and there's a lot that you have to work with in the grand scheme. So just take all that into consideration when setting up your kit. I do have a couple of other episodes that I'm going to be working on to where I talk about other ways that you can set up your kit so that way everything is a lot more streamlined and you have something that is going to be a little bit more functional than this. But just keep this in mind when it comes to setting up your kit. If you are going to use a TAP system, just make sure that it's not inhibiting you from being able to shoot, move, communicate, and medicate no matter what your mission is, your operational environment, and your duty position, and then you should be good to go. And yeah, just keep everything as streamlined as possible. So with that, if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment. We'll help you out in any way that we can with your setup. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.